Well, good morning, John Neal here. It's Sunday, the 17th of September 2023, going for a bike ride, but today I am going to talk about pannier bags, just for Tom.
Wanna move my feet, wanna drink my wine, wanna move my feet, wanna drink my wine, wanna move my feet, wanna drink my wine, wanna move my feet, wanna drink my wine.
If you are a regular to this channel or know the area well, you'll notice I'm about to go up to Higham Village, but I'm going to go along the A5 first. Now, pannier bags. Pannier bags, they go over the back wheel or the front wheel. Mostly in the past, I have to say, I've always had them over the back wheel. And I just found them very useful. They're out of the way. You haven't got any bags dangling over your handlebars or under your saddle. And you even see bags stuffed in the triangle of the frame as well, and then hanging off the front of the handlebars, and the wheels of the bike are then left completely free. Never quite understood this. It's great having pannier bags, but unfortunately I did have a pair which are quite old now, and they were quite big, and they were described in how big they were in terms of litres. Never quite worked out how you're supposed to sort that out. Am I supposed to fill them full of water to find out how big they are? Anyway, so I ordered another pair of pannier bags, which were basically back pannier bags. I'll go on the back over the back wheel, and they were okay, but I thought they might be a little bit small, so I ordered another pair, and I think they were the same size, and those are the ones I've got on now. They're a little bit retro, nice leather straps, so I like them. For everyday stuff, that's fine. But if I go shopping and have a lot to carry, I do end up and I run out of space. So I've always wanted, never had before, a front pannier. So I bought one, stuck it on the front, and with it being a disc brake, it's been awkward to fit, but I've managed to do it, bent and twisted and put little spaces in. I managed to get this pannier rack on the front, and I'm not taking it off when I don't need it because it's such a faff to do so. So Tom, that's what's on the front. It's a front pannier rack, of course, and it just so happens to have two prongs sticking forwards. It is on the right way round, by the way. Yeah, so if anybody were to collide with that, or it would catch vegetation, I would have thought, quite nicely if I was going through long grass or something. But it is as it is. So that's what's there. So if I do any shots with the camera off the floor, front wheel and all that, you're going to see a front pannier rack, which I occasionally use nowadays if I've got a large load. It's because I've gone shopping. And so on to Higham on the Hill Village, and I do believe there's some roadworks up here. It's not the first time they've closed the road off in the village for various reasons. Anyway, I'm decided about here. I think I'll just nip down to the church. It's a Sunday morning. Maybe something's going on. And indeed, I can see some lights on in the church, and I do believe the door's open. They're singing some hymns. There's actually a service going on, which is quite nice, really. I'll leave them to their devotions and get on my way. That was interesting. The church had a service going on a Sunday morning. The Church of England is, well, the congregations are diminishing, it has to be said, and the village churches often have one vicar, if they've got one vicar or minister or whatever you'd like to call the person in charge, man or woman, over about 4 or 5 different village churches. So they go in a sort of a rotation. So one week they'll have a service in one village, the next in the next village. So Higham to have that service today might, somebody might correct me, might only be having that service once every 4 Sundays. I could check it out to be exactly accurate, but can't be bothered. Anyway, nice to see and hear. I wasn't going to go in and poke my head around the corner, that would have been a little bit intrusive. But the Church of England is still there and there's still a congregation. I've spoken to some of the people in Higham Village because there's a tiny Methodist church opposite. You think, why have 2 churches in the one? And all the villages are similar. They'll have the Church of England and then probably a Methodist church there as well. But they do work together. But it seems a bit of a strange setup to have 2 Christian churches in one village. So you might be thinking, you've got a bit of a thick voice on the John. I have, and thanks for asking. And yeah, I'm just going to wait for this cyclist to go by. Hello. Yeah, I've had a bit of a cold. Oh, the trouble is when you're my age, you like to talk about your ailments. When I get together with friends, we can spend the first hour just talking about what's wrong with us and all the hospitals we've been to and the doctors we've seen. Oh dear. Anyway, I had a cold. I don't know why, just very suddenly came over last week. And for 3 or 4 days, but just about recovered from it. So I didn't go anywhere, I felt a bit lethargic. And so today, the weather's not too bad at all. It's quite warm and I'm really glad to get out. So a little bit of spin out on the bike. And somebody was asking about the pannier bags, so that was a good enough reason for me to try and make a little video. Oh, well, I have to say, I'm going to do a running commentary as I cycle around here now. This is to do with this bicycle, the e-bike, the E-Stali 28, absolutely superb. This little hill here, look, by the time you got this far, oh crikey, here's a hill. It's nothing at all. I've dropped down to the second lowest gear, no problem at all, heading up towards Whiting Village, look. It's a bit of a hill, but isn't a problem whatsoever. I'm not even out of breath, as you can see. I presume it's going to be Stoke Lane, and this is one of the prettiest little lanes around. And now I've just got to negotiate this big van, so I'll just pull over here. Thank you, Mr. Evergreen Landscapes. So, I hear you ask, what's in those bags? I'll show you. John, you're only going for it's not even a day ride. I'm only going for about an hour, a couple of hours at the most. So what have you got in here? Well, first of all, look at these lovely straps. They're nice leather ones. That's the cover for the camera. Don't need that. I've got in here, this side, my cape. That's just so in case I forget, which you've seen me take out before now. Use that as a ground shoot sometimes as well. And these are the tools and spares. So I've got a spare in the tube. Oops. And a little toolkit for various bits and pieces. A tiny knife. I don't know what else I've got. Oh, this multi-tool, which is very useful. And one or two of the bits and pieces. The lock for my big strong lock, and a few ties, plastic ties. They can turn out to be very useful. So that's one side. Just do that back up, do it all properly. And the other side, which is the one I'm often off because I get off the bike this way. So this is the side that I get to first of all, and this is where I'll have, you know, the regular stuff. I've got my bike lock, which is always good to have in hand, and then I'll put in there for the moment just my little tripod, and I often put the drone in this side. Sandwiches, flask, if it's going to be a bit of an expedition. And the other thing I've got in hand here is a little bit longer, this the tripod, sorry, monopod, I can't count, which is very useful. Use that quite a lot. Stick the GoPro on the end of that, and here, haven't used it that often unfortunately, is a little pump, which, as I say, don't always need, but it's there, and that's a tiny little thing, just the job. Apart from anything else, that's it. Okay, now you know. I'm beginning to think that these little tours around the beautiful lanes of South Leicestershire are ending up being a tour of the seats, because I sort of know where they all are now, so I can stop and put my feet up and put my backside down for a minute and take a break. So this is in Dadlington on the green, and it's quite popular. So, last time I came past it I thought, oh yeah, a seat here, and there were about 5 cyclists around it, so I missed my chance there. I'm next to a red telephone box, and to think not so long ago the telephone box here was probably the only telephone in this village. 50 years ago this would have been a central point of communication. Nowadays, of course, most people have mobile phones, and the box is now, here we go, come and have a look, contains a defibrillator. Where's the entrance? Here we are. It's so iconic, these things. It's got cobwebs all over it, so it's not been used. I have to say, fortunately. Yeah, so a defibrillator, no longer a telephone box, but these were quite iconic. What does iconic mean? Typical. Everywhere around Britain had one of those. Usually red, although in other places in Britain, usually on the islands, we were in, is it Guernsey? They're yellow. What's that all about? I've seen blue ones somewhere. Where was that? Where do they have blue telephone boxes? Anyway, proper ones are red. Yeah. You know, we frequently don't make a mark of who these benches and seats are for, because they've often got names on. So, loving memories of Les Simpson, 1931 to 98. So, I presume he was of this village, Dadlington. So, Rest in peace, Les Simpson, and all the best to his family, who no doubt still live here. And so on to Stoke Golding, the school's on the left, church is on the right here, and I like to take this little lane through the back streets of Stoke Golding and come back out on the main road. Well, there you have it, one of the worst pieces of videography of wildlife ever. But it was a raven after all. Oh, well, that'll do me. Not sure how far I've gone, not far, about 10 miles. But after my recent, I wouldn't say illness, and I had a cold, runny nose and a cough. But I did have a flu vaccination as well. But yeah, it set me back 3 or 4 days actually, so it's good to get home, a few jobs to do, and that'll do me for now. So thanks for watching, and do comment if you've got anything to say. I do like to read your comments, and you'll see me next time. Okay, bye bye.